Thank you once more, Program Director. Mine is very quick comments. It's just to introduce the keynote speaker for the day. Whilst we know that there are many negatives that COVID would have brought to us, however, equally so, I think there are positives from the COVID situation. Because one of the things that COVID has learned or actually taught us is to fast track the 4IR, the fourth industrial revolution. And therefore, we don't have the keynote speaker physically in attendance here. However, we bring the message of support from the General Secretary of this organization, who did not need any introduction, because all of us knows that Comrade Mukwena Maluleke is our GS. And therefore, in no time, we'll then show the message as the GS will then be presenting. We know that the GS has been in the negotiations at the later stage, will make an announcement around the developments in that space. So can we, for a moment, 5 minutes or so, allow the General Secretary of this giant organization to speak to members of Sadtu, all our invited guests who are here. We take this opportunity to give over to the General Secretary. Thank you very much. Cheers. For a moment, comrades and colleagues, whilst we are dealing with some technical aspects, because we know that even for the better part of last year, comrade some of us who are BBTs, we're struggling to adjust to this thing of technology. And the comrade will say, but my hand is up. And the comrade would have raised his head at home. And we thought we'll see in the so technology has also a way of dealing with people. So we're adjusting, but we're adjusting showing of the of JB Bank. I can tell you that we're adjusting because now at least we're having seamless transactions for these meetings. After some time, I think we'll now be mastering these Teams and the Zooms. We are just waiting for the chap who was dealing with the sound, we should just come and make some adjustments. If they can get the sound check for us so that we can just quickly come and assist. Comrades, we also don't want to spoil the mood of this important gathering. However, we unfortunately just have to relate the sad news that we just received whilst we are running the program. That one former deputy regional chairperson of JB Max Nowadays it's very tough, comrades, because when you switch data off, when you sleep in the morning, when you wake up, you get a number of messages. Not just good morning, but other messages are very much hitting. Like yesterday, we were receiving a message from MM, where the former chairperson of Makapanstad, unfortunately, passed on. And as we're sitting now here, we are receiving a message that Comrade Jack Matwela, unfortunately, Comrade Jack is late. We will request that for a moment we observe a moment of silence as we rise in the memory of Comrade Jack. May the soul of the departed hero rest in peace. Mandla. Thank you very much, Program Director. I'm not sure where our technical chat is, so that we should be able to start the program and continue, because time is also running. Let's just allow the moment whilst we are connecting to receive the message of the General Secretary. Earlier on, we were chanting slogans, but equally so, we were saying, hey, with this virus thing, it's not also nice to see him with mask on. There are so many things. We don't know where to touch and all those things. That's unfortunate for it. But I guess we would have loved that when we go to the presentation, it should be the last item. That is why we wanted to deal with all other inputs, messages of support, keynote address prior to the presentation. And after the presentations, we will then just have a few announcements. After we've taken announcements, we'll have a vote of thanks. And after that, we will then enjoy our meals so that we are then able to depart as early as possible. So I think for now, we'll just take this particular moment. I'm not sure if our technical guys are winning. Yeah, I think you must deal with the calculator. You must deal only minus, not the plus. You must just press the minus part of it, because now this technical person is ready to deal with our program. We should be very far by now. I think whilst we were waiting, we can then probably allow comrades in the meantime to get working at various tables. I've noted that comrades would have preferred to sit, from a particular region. Because makes a comrade education convener of the new group in the house. So can allow comrades to continue just having 5 minutes break in terms of making sure that they network whilst we are addressing this technical issue. And then once it's been addressed, we'll resume with our program. You will bear with us, it's beyond our control. Program Director.
Thank you, comrade. Comrade Els was saying to me, treasurer, in my name, you only do the act plus. But comrade secretary, can you allow me to say this, that I'm not sure what is happening in other regions, but that's my observation. Though with us, comrade Zinde and comrade Kaira are assisting, it is to request to the regional leaderships to say, you know, there's a challenge with office-based Sadtu members. My request from my experience is, notably, they are not that much serviced like Sadtu members at schools. That was identified when the Rose Lutogo was doing a good job to us. And I would say, check with your audit with the regions as to whether those people are serviced. And also to request the Secretariat of Province to say, I take it it's proper that next time these events must have invitations to offices of the provincial communication and also the hosting district communication section, so that this message can go roaring to all sectors of the province. You can see leadership of the district is not here, and they might not know that Sadtu is doing this good to us. What comrade Bola was saying for the government, Sadtu were only there for salaries. Might be at home in some other districts, and this will assist. Whilst we're waiting, we can play. Okay. All right. Okay, colleagues, let's give attention to what the internet equipment is going to provide us. Viva Sadtu, viva! Colleagues and comrades, there's a proposal that we'll get a message later and to continue with the program. And the item as well will be outline awards presentation. And allow me to call Government Matuna President to come and give us.
Thank you very much, Honorable Director. My name is not Makuna. My name is Nkusi, and the surname is Mafunda. Yeah, maybe you say Makuna because I had my comrade on the Lituna. So probably the plural of Lituna, Kematuna. Yeah, but I appreciate that title from another perspective. Even before comrades, first let me greet the Provincial Executive Committee members were here. I was told that I need to introduce them. I will not waste any time. I will indicate that among others, we've got the hosting regional education convener, Comrade Mabato, and Mabato will be served at clients.
Viva, viva! Viva! Amanda!
What's covered, Mr. Judge? And then another comrade from JP Marks, Comrade Bulani, Kimadef. She's a new promoter. That's why we have got the stalwart of Petcom from Uparanda, the region whose secretary speaks a very powerful English. Yes, Comrade Mutsam. We also have got a new room, the only male convener from the regions. He is also new, it's Omden. I'm calling Omden, Omden,
Viva Sadtu, viva!
Viva!
No, thank you very much. Even before I get to the task that I've actually been called upon to do here, I've corrected that we must be able to put some things in context. And the context that I'm speaking about here, you know, sometime back the deputy president addressed it, Comrade Mautotai. Did address it sometime back. But I really think that is also correct that I must also address it. You know, every time when women come here, rather she's a lady, no woman, no cry. And ideologically, that is incorrect. Ideologically, that is incorrect. Because you are somewhere somehow suggesting but ideologically, we must be speaking that no woman, no revolution. That is basically the ideological concept. In fact, if ever we have been through what we used to have as Sadtu groups, we used to have a module that actually speaks no woman, no revolution. And as we celebrate this year the life of Charlotte Matric, we must also be able to put things in context, to come up and indicate that this revolution could not be a success if we did not have the role that women played in that particular revolution. I do not know how melodiously we are going to put it. Maria no woman look like it's a woman. But over and above that, we also, did indicate that there is no true social revolution without the liberation of women. So I'm just trying to put this. Again, I'm an education convener, I must educate you. I'm an education convener, I must educate you so that we must then be able, how you put it in terms of melody, yeah, there's a one and what we say, where the whole of it's one of the choices, I mean, I guess, high school. Right? But we must also be able to say we are thankful to the Provincial Executive Committee as we now come to the actual reason why you're here. That they have been able to allow us, when as PEDCOM and later we suggested that we need to have something like this, that they were able to say that indeed this is very much correct. And really, we do not want to take any glory for any other thing. We are one of the 3 provinces now. I can remember two, maybe others. I can only remember the Eastern Cape, and I also remember Limpopo. We could be the 3rd province that does this, but I might be speaking under correction. We have got a number of categories that we have been able to come up and look into. But like the provincial secretary correctly put it, this is a maiden event. So we wanted to avoid a situation where and then logistically and other issues were this one is there's an very similar hanyani, Maradi Wahansi Yamobi, Retahola, but over and above that, we need to indicate that consciously so, we were biased. And we are not apologetic about being biased. Consciously so, we were biased. And in the main, our biasness was towards the Olu, in quintals 1 and 3, because that is where the majority of members of Sadtu, that is where the poorest of the poor are. And those are the schools which, over and above any other thing, they would have a number of challenges. Most of the schools would not necessarily be happy. But we also acknowledged, or Dr. Mbula, the quintile system is flawed. And because it is flawed, we also said that it is also correct that let us also consider some of the schools within quintile 4. Moreover, we also know that there are quite a lot of our schools that are in quintile 4, and they are only based. I can't school quintile 3, create different quintile. But whereas right? But we're also saying that as Sadtu, so that's why we are then saying that we are not neutral as we're dealing with this particular matter. In fact, I think it's Paul Freire who says education is not neutral. And we really agree with Paul Freire to say that education is not neutral. That is why he goes on to say that if education is not neutral, he then says we cannot afford to have educators while neutral. We cannot afford to have educators while neutral. Educators must take a stand. And the stand that they are taking, it must be a stand that is for the poor. That is a stand that we are taking. So I also saying, comrades, that as we say that the African National Congress is a leader of society, we cannot even be arguing that Sadtu is a leader of education society. And as a leader of education society, we must then be able to come up and take our rightful place in terms of that. And then we have, for a start, identified 5 categories. And as the PS indicated, let me outline those categories. The first category would be a category for the schools which obtained 80% up to 89% in terms of the pass rate. The second category will be the category of the schools that obtained 90% up to 100%. And then we also have got a third category, which would be the top 3 schools, in the province. Now, you will then get that those top 3 schools are going to come particularly from the very same schools that shall have been awarded. But now we are also checking the issues of quality. We must also remember that as Sadtu, we are not hyped up. Reposition mark. That issue it's not an issue. The issue for education, we must be able to check into the quality. So that we must not only celebrate or they are not able to come up and move beyond that, even if one. Now, in terms of the third category, which is the category of the top 3 schools in the province. During the quality. Now, while we check quality, research for those schools, one, you must, the school must, among others, but about for a minimum of 50% yet bachelors. But not only that, at least a minimum for the bachelors and the diplomas combined. Those must actually account for 70% of the actual pass rate school. Right. Now, you are likely to find, and you'll see as you are what, that you may have a school that may not necessarily, that is in the 80s, for example. I know it's quite about 89 or 88%, I'm not very sure. But the top 3 because of the quality and the results about in city. Because now the checker goes for the issues. And the very same criteria, one criterion, but many criteria. Again, this is plural. I am an education convener. You elected me to educate you. So, all I'm saying is that those criteria that we have spoken of, that printers 1 up to 3, also even for printer schools. Now, the other thing that we need to come up and indicate, because there is similar at a low scheme, Comrade Mukhara, you don't come all the way from Hagala or from the people of RSM. These are not the people of Tishay Masala, these are the people of RSM. So, all of that we are saying is that, but we then said that, who avoid a situation where you don't require because of issues of COVID, but not only because of the issues of COVID, because they are similar. We then said that around similar that actually had a minimum of 100 candidates, that's what we also did. But of course, as the Provincial Secretary correctly put it, as you move into 2022 and beyond, we are then saying that we'll also, this will then grow. This will then be able to come up and grow. And then also got a category that I forgot, the rural schools. Now, you cannot begin to speak that much in the case of rural schools. Because if you have because I would like to come up and get that. If you do, it is going to be very, very few schools of such. So as you do that, so those are basically the criteria that we used so that we must then be able to come up with the ready hours. And I can tell you, we are very much conscious for this. As we move forward, we also need to come up and include other categories. We are very much aware that, for example, special schools for now, we have not been able to do any acknowledgement. Simply because, among others, you only have quite a number of schools in the Northwest in particular. Say your South African home language, the sign language thereof. So, but moving forward, we will also be able to broaden the scope of the people, broaden the scope of the schools that we're actually inviting. But at the end of the day, we are also acknowledging the collective. So I'm not sure of PS whether should we just proceed with the awards. Okay, we should proceed. Let me get my papers. And this is what we're going to do. We assume all regions are here. And in the event that scholars are here, because we are not going to take anything from here to the provincial office. If the school from your region has here, where now education convener or a PC member, please to go at partner school so that we fit is because I anything goes on more street. And then right now we're going to start. Now I need to be away from here. If I honor of my prayers. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So right away, firstly, Ricky Coupe, the secretary of the NAS GP, the secretary of the NAS GP, Coupe, and that is Tigani, you come and work with this man. Mabatoli, Yerupulani, Kupale, don't do some of my advice. Newly elected. Right. Right. From Rosely 2. Rosely 2. That's fine. So that's like how crowded. From Rosely 2, we get all of that 80% to 89%. Those are the scores that actually received. I will not necessarily be getting into the numbers now because of time. But from Rosely 2, we have got the 2 in the secondary. The 2 in the secondary. Right. Doctor. From JP Max 77. I'm sorry, I JP Max in me, I must JP Max. I'm sorry. Right. Right, and then we also have got from Atlantic Mag. I should have gone to Atlantic Mag. We'll then have the school called Tuto B. Tuto B. We also have got from Butanti Megwa, Ndolo Secondary. Ndolo Secondary. Thank you very much. And then from Mutlanti Mego, we are in Mutlanti Mego side here. From Mutlanti Mego once more, we also have got E2A commercial hub. Rose the Tubu, Matric secondary. What about the Tubu to say of Joe? You can't remember back when I high. Rose the Tubu, you get eso. You also need to make an approach. So you can come. You deserve that the palo instead of 87 but request 78, and we take responsibility for the mistake. You are going to get it right. You are going to get a correct certificate. Oscar Sharp out of the that's what it's everything. All right. And apology once more, and then Mutanti Mewa a letter secondary. Why you want Mr. Chairman? Why don't you like deputy chairman? Rose the Tubu, Rakopo. Right, Oparanda. From Oparanda, Rama to High. Rama to High. There's a Zulu on my stoop. There's a Zulu on my stoop. From Zulu boy. Who is an technical and commercial. Zulu boy. Move, Alice, move. Move like a coffee fan. But be tired, man. Never tell it. Rosa, Malik Muhai, Malik, Rose, Malik. It has been wrongly written. We are going to correct it. Please bring it back from Rose to Manamahuta. Right. I'm going to get it right. Zulu boy, Parolu. What all? From JP Max. Yeah, from JP Max. And this is my school. This is where I did my Form 1 to Standard 10. My Form 1 to Standard 10. Yes. I am well connected. What I can have a second that. Rosti tu mana big. Give me a stage. The production is in the same. Magic a lion. Standing Max. Manjiva, MM. Rose. The rose of the Northwest. The rose of the Northwest. Rose de Togo Penatasi. Kisolos Matrosana secondary. Kisolas, what do you call it in Saskia? What age? What was silence it was and others. And down my card. JV Max again, move secondary. Separate. Thank you, David. What's my feelings? I'm not going to somebody to look. Right. MM Tavamurula. Others MM move them back. In JV Maps, we used to have Togo here. We had the Togo municipality. Now we have got the JV Maps municipality, but there's a school there called Togo Secondary. Togo Secondary, JV Maps. Mutually high, Oberland. Mutually, that's where Muslim comes from, Nigeria. Put on table. Okay. I'm getting a sense that the put here for MM and M the two will actually be put at some. So for secondary, we can do map. Onali kanana savings, onali kanana bonusing bag, onali kanana yako opening, onali kanana yako buying. Yes, kanana secondary from JP Max. Sibonga kalanya na yena. Chucho ike. Bebana, who's Bebana? Get up. Oh, about you. Oh, right. Bebana, MM. Oh, Bebana, we can't do that. And now, after that, honorable members, you can take your seats. I know they miss you too. Right. What's DPS? What's that mic? No, it's fine. There's another DPS. There's another DPS of NASGP. DPS. Come. There's another DPS of NASGP. You will be joined by the convener of Open Hand. Right. From Mutati member, now we are going to the category. Yali goal, secretly 90% and above. 90% and above. You see. Mutati member, Johannes Polovics. Johannes Polovics. William, from Mutati member. Cannot correct it after
Yes.
JB Max. Mutuga High. I had expected a chapter of JB Max that would have that man as a brief. The principal of the school. From the two, you can go, get a high. Final.
So, Chair, How are we gonna do the Zoom?
Let's go at the in law. Sister Kosi. From TJ Matan. Yeah, no, now,
Should we cancel it?
I've got breaking rights here. I've got breaking rights because the school where I'm working, I'm not working for Sadtu, because I can go into primary school. It's a feeder school of the school. Yeah, so I've got my own breaking rights. From JP Marks, led by the chairperson of the region of JP Marks, BA so B secondary school. For exception 7, let's take 7. Out here. Yeah, you see, the former education convener of the province, who is a former provincial chairperson of Sadtu, a former director, a former everything, the current teacher. HFO secondary school. And Agnes, but I'm glad I'm proud. HFO secondary school. Who cannot have what was HFO now and there's one going for property here. You see, I don't know why Mrs. Russell Seymour, I want to condense Mr. Russell Seymour. I can't tell why. Right. Right. But the other thing that we forgot to do, these schools also got trophies. It's my fault. Yeah, it's my fault because they are certificates by 9 and above. Somebody to trophy. Okay, let's finish first. That one white, you have the black and white. Program director, what about the director? Yeah, are correct anyway. All right, but they also go with the trophies. There is a certificate and a trophy. So you also get that pattern trophy. Thank you very much. Now we are going to again in each and every region. Retailers will say one rural school because we cannot pretend like these schools are also not performing. They don't have their own challenges. From Rossi to our top rural school, this is and I have that's why it's not broken around here.
Which one is that? Oh, sir, you really need good stuff. I want
Why should be a Zulu man? This must be a Zulu man. From TJ Mazan, Supposed to watch it. But Totonyane, secondary, and leave it there. I'm supposed to be standing at the pulpit preaching.
Thank you, Pagela. Kapag Pagela. Machadal. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much, honorable members. I'm going to go to the category. That's the top three. Right. Now, we will then call on Puto Pili from MM, which is number 3 in this category. Puto Pili. It's a trophy and a certificate. Right. And the second, number 2 all that information now. Our number 2 in this category is from JB Max, BASOB Secondary School.
Songama ngesikonakele Jokuthela yakhe ngaphezulu konakele Ubumhlaba kungehlule Impilo le ayikho lula Songama ngesikonakele Jokuthela yakhe ngaphezulu konakele
Our number 1 in this category. You see what Dr. Mvula wants me to do. Or what I can announce dikolo tsago TJ. From Rosalie Took. He's biased and he's now in JB Max. HF Flow is our number 1 in this category. Oyakai Agnes. Oyakai. I like it when it says ukhusele ngathi ngahlala ethi ukhusele net. Yeah, when it's khuseling it's good. Right. We are now going to another category, quintile 4. The criteria that we used are the same as the ones that we use for the quintiles 1 up to 3. Our number 3 in the top 3 arona in quintile 4 is Freiberg High from TJ Madlala. This guy is Gababile fella. Yeah, you must not know it Gababile fella. Leads to the performance. And this man who's standing here, I think, is the first black principal of that school. Am I right? Now, he says I must announce him, which is very correct, as the first provincial deputy secretary of Sadtu in the Northwest. I want to look at and get the DPS. Our number 2 in this category at the quintile 4, Kimabato High, Zulu boy. Okay, I showed you. You can see this is a co-delicious walk. And it's only correct if fella. It's only correct if fella. Not I. It's only correct if fella say our dino. Go PSL. Gonna sip. Okay, sip. But still, Kosi, we congratulate you for carrying the nation, in CAF. Yeah, I'm a Kosi. Banabasa Tamiki go second division ya CAF. Like Baba. Our number 1 in quintile 4, it will be our Sunrise View Secondary.
wakhwela inqwelo ntaka washona kweza intaba nchilo nchilo njengenyoni ngiyachiloza waphela inyanga kwashona amalanga netshomi zami zethu
Thank you very much. No. Wabona ke ba tlogela a ke re quintile 4 is ample private school. That's why ke re ba tlogela ample private school. But let me tell you the story about our number ones in these top 3. HFO and Sunrise View. They are led by spouses, by a couple, Mr. and Mrs. Rasesemul. One is a principal in another, and the other one is a principal in another one. Now, comrades, in the interest of time, Retokupa, those rural schools, ne? Is that rural? No. So, the top about 90% above, your trophies are here. You will need to come up and actually get those. And I really think that my job actually ends here. And once more, we really need to come up and congratulate you. Yeah. And Retokupa firstly, but 90%, 200%, quickly. Little more want to take a peek with you. Yeah. Oh, no, the PS is issuing an instruction, Chairperson, it means right. No, thank you very much, comrades. Comrade PS and comrade former PC. Thank you very much. At this point in time, I will then hand over back to you, Program Director. And thank you very much. And you'll move with the program. Thank you. I've sanitized for you.
What a mammoth task you did, Commander, and thank you very much. I'm just checking as to whether are we ready with the clip? Okay. Successful people do what unsuccessful are not willing to do. So they don't wish to be getting into things easier because they wish all should be better. Congratulations, colleagues, one and all who received awards for your schools. Can we clap for them, please? Their successes isn't just what they got, what they accomplished, but exactly it is about what they inspire others to do. Let's all be inspired. I'm happy that Abutim Kuzele Hakare, as I finish, as it ends, on my way out, while still waiting. Siyabonga Mhlekazi. Nkosi yami. Hayi ke tla go nyalla isikgale. I like the latter words that somebody's representing others somewhere in the big league and is making the country proud. I may be charged, but without doubt, Kusi is there. Are we getting it on, colleagues? Okay. At the moment, we're waiting for the clip from the keynote address by the General Secretary of the organization. I thought I'm an ancestor ya dilo tseo mara ka re nka thusa ka gongwe. All Sadtu ancestors go and assist. Ba hone yaanong ga ba kgone. Technology ena le ka e kgona di-take machine. We just left with the last two items. We'll be ending our program after the keynote address. Thank you very much, colleagues. It seems all in order. Then you can shoot.
Matla. Long live Sadtu, long live. Long live the ANC, long live. Long live the SACP, long live. Long live COSATU, long live. Long live our teachers, long live. Long live our communities, long live. Comrade Chairperson of the session, thank you for having us today. Let me recognize the leadership of our province, our chair, and our provincial secretary, and the working committee, as well as the provincial executive committee. Let me also recognize all the people who are connecting live on Facebook, and also let me greet the leadership of the Alliance and anyone who has been invited here today, in particular our teachers and our school management who are here to receive their honor or their gifts. On behalf of our National Executive Committee, I want to thank you as the Northwest Province leadership for organizing this inaugural award ceremony, for recognizing our teachers who worked under very difficult circumstances in 2020. Many of the people were saying that the year must be written off. However, as teachers and revolutionaries and activists in our organization and in the communities, we believe that education is an enabler. And being an enabler, we knew that education has to be used to build champions, to build ambassadors, and to build resilience. We knew that we have got to defeat this particular pandemic. And therefore, to do that, we needed to have our schools being the barriers against this particular transmission. So we're here to say thank you so much for working so hard under very trying circumstances, that you have worked without a salary increase in 2020. You have persevered. You have shown again that as revolutionaries, you are there for the people. You are there for our country. You are there for our children. You have again confirmed that as members of Sadtu, you are revolutionaries. You are trade union activists, and therefore you believe that education can be a game changer. That education can help us for us to be able to enjoy many of the freedoms that we have fought for. So despite you not having received those particular salary increases, with all the problems that we have experienced and all the fight that we have put into this, you continue to produce the results. Congratulations to all of you, and congratulations to those teachers who sleep at schools during the weekend together with their management and their parents, who are there to supervise their children for them to be able to study and be able to make it. We stand in solidarity with you as you continue to teach under very difficult circumstances and conditions. In certain instances, you teach in schools that have got no facilities, schools that have got no laboratories, libraries, and sometimes the infrastructure is very poor. However, you have persevered. You have continued to shine and show that you are revolutionaries. I am saying that you are revolutionaries because you are there to enlighten and build our nation. I am saying you are revolutionaries because you understood our assignment, that of empowering and developing our nation, that of creating a learning nation. I'm calling you revolutionaries because unlike those few elements that come to our school to prey on our children as sex pests, you stand firm to give education and to build relationship with our children. Those elements are tarnishing this particular profession, which is the mother of all professions. And therefore, we don't associate with them. We don't associate with sex pests. We don't associate with rapists in our schools. We denounce violence in our schools, and we denounce these acts of misconduct that are committed by very few people that end up really giving the profession a bad name. You are revolutionaries because you are there for the children. You improvise when they don't have anything. Some of you sacrifice your own money to making sure that these students are able to attend the camps, they are able to travel. We are very proud of you. We thank you for doing what you are doing, for building our country, for building our communities, to live in peace, in defense of our democracy, and in defense of our freedoms, in defense of human rights. You are therefore our champions. You are our ambassadors. And therefore, we are saying to you, continue to shine the light. Continue to do your best. As we face this third wave, we stand together. And when we stand together, we will always triumph. We will always win. We have to make sure that we continue to wear our masks. We continue to observe social distances. We have to continue to wash our hands and sanitize them. We have to make sure that every one of us does not drop the guard. We have to stand together. I therefore, on behalf of our National Executive Committee, on behalf of our 270,000 members in the country, say to you, thank you, Northwest. Thank you, our teachers. Thank you, our school management leaders who continue to do our work. We say in Sadtu, teachers at work, building our nation. We wear our regalia with pride because we are professionals. We wear our regalia with pride because we do our work. Those who don't do our work, they don't belong to our organization. Those who rape our children don't belong to our organization. Those who reduce the children and exploit them and promising them that they will pass when they sleep with them do not belong to this organization. And please, let's not associate with them. Let's expose them. Let's make sure that they are isolated, because we don't believe that building a country means these criminals. Thank you so much. I wish you all the best.
Thank you very much. In our spirit and in harmony and in absentia, Comrade GS, thanks for the message. May you applaud it? Without any waste of time, comrades, thank you very much. Let me call Comrade Nancy Tipe to come and do us announcements. Comrade Nancy Tipe, armo amogele bagaetso.
Thank you once more, Program Director. Announcements are as follows. Meals will be served at the foyer there. Immediately that you have been served, come back to the hall to enjoy your meal. We'll be starting with the first table, that is the table of the dignitaries, where PS is sitting there. Then thereafter we'll follow by the tables. And please let us observe social distancing as we are taking our meals and coming back to the hall. Number 2, there will be a photo shoot while meals are served, and the photo shoot will be led by the education convener, Comrade Mafunda, here in the hall. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Comrade Nancy. Now, Comrade Pierce, not all of this can do great things, but all can do small things and be great. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Program Director. let us take this opportunity to thank our program director, Comrade Kupari, for having assisted us in terms of driving this particular program. We want to take this opportunity to thank the Provincial Executive Committee of Sadtu for having taken a decision that this event should be organized and carried out as it has happened now. We want to take the opportunity to thank the invites who came into this particular event, the representatives from the Department of Education in the province, Dr. Mvula on behalf of the MEC. We also want to say thank you, Dr. Mvula, for being with us here, and that we have appreciated and noted the apology of the MEC. We want to also thank the National Association of School Governing Bodies. They are our strategic ally in terms of school governance. For them coming here, PS, we really want to thank yourselves. We know it was not an easy task, especially on Saturdays, because there are so many activities. We want to thank all the school principals, representatives of the schools who are here for also honoring this particular event. We want to take this particular moment to thank the organizers of this event, led by the Education Desk, obviously through the Secretariat of the Province, for making sure that we have this particular important event. We also want to thank our media personnel from the National Office and those who have also joined us here. We want to thank the sponsors of this event, because besides them, we will not be able to manage. As you know, that the organization is a non-profit making organization, and obviously we rely on continuously requesting them. All the recipients of today, we really want to say thank you very much. We are very much impressed that most of our formerly disadvantaged schools are the ones that continues to deserve this particular awards. We know that it's not an easy thing when you compare with your quintile 5 schools in particular. But when the education convener told me about HF Clow and Sunrise View, I said there must be something very good happening in that house. Very good happening in that house. It's a rare moment, honestly speaking. And we want to thank all of you. Want to say, as we will be going back home, let us drive much safe. It's unfortunate that the COVID situation does not allow us to have extended hours here. So we'll wish that you drive back safe home. When we have our program outside there, Dr. Mvula, you can see it has a union emblem there, and it's written, I'm a school fan. It's a campaign that is an organization who are rolling out in terms of making sure that we teach in our schools, we care for our learners, we protect, and we denounce violence. At a particular point in time, we'll invite you as the department, as we'll be enrolling this particular program, which intends to bring the communities closer to schools. That as the union, we also care. And we're saying our schools must be free zones of violence. What must be encompassing our schools should be learning and teaching. And thank you very much, comrades and colleagues, for honoring this particular event. As it has been indicated, we'll enjoy our meals and will then depart well back to our respective homes. As you go back, tell your families that we really appreciate for having allowed yourselves to be with us here for the day. Sadtu will continue to cherish and champion its own agenda of making sure that we strive
for public quality education. Mandla. Thank you very much.
Let me also thank you, Comrade Secretary, and request of one and all to stand up and sing the national anthem. Okay, yeah, national anthem. May one please chant us the song?
Thank you very much. No, thank you. No, re feditse yaanong. Mariano, re tlo kopa gauti ke ne program director ya di photo shoot. So a ke tsebe ke abayokya mabambe bayokya mna ngxaki. Re ke bua le chief photographer. Chigza, people of Pretoria, chill. Dr. Mvula, on behalf of the MEC, Mrs. Rasise Mula, Mike Mainganya, Mr. Sidikani, Lee Elstemba. There will be an interview at Lokupwang Batubana. I get why, one by one. I get why Arik announced the interviews as Ansenyan. We'll then request, can we get the top 3 schools? But what's the pictures? Or so call you. Yeah, what them? Can we get the top 3, both of them, Batlemo? But what's your response? You can. Koraba badirisa advantage fela ya go service provider ke ya bona. Cheers. People of Tswana. Yeah, the time up. But not the first.
not mistaken, baby. I feel this is gonna last. Cause girl, I love you. Oh, my baby, my love is true. And I'll do anything for you. Can't you see that I love you? I'm all for you.
One, two, 1, 2. We're live at the place called Orion. This is where we are today. You're live on Mzansi Urban Radio, the Southern Urban Experience. My name is Thabo Mhashwa. Today we're just on YouTube and also on Facebook. We're still battling to get the music right on their side. Chaba is here as well. He's going to be helping us with everything as always. Melinda, hey, the team is here. Everybody in the team is here together. We live for you and to you. We need this to go up. Hold on. Chaba giving me instructions whilst I'm live on the air. Shall we do this? 1 2. 1 2. Testing 1 2 3. This is a test. Testing 1 2 3. This is a test. Testing 1 2 3. The bim bim bim. 1 2 1 2. Aside the food, where are the chaba leyo nga stress kakhulu. Izos detail. Uma ukuthi yasebenza yasebenza, uma ngasebenza yasebenza. Let's say khona. Futhi ngicishila kusana music lo. Le yasebenza mic.
Yeah.
Okay. No good.
Yeah, Sanchez.
Yeah, ke Sanchez.
1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. Check 1 2. This is the chairman of the board. We are live, Mzansi Eben. 1 2. We are coming to you live at Mzansi Eben. 1 2. Coming to you live at Mzansi Eben. How is it? Okay, let me hear from that one, or come and sit this side. Right? We are coming to you live from Mzansi Eben. Coming to you live, coming to you live. Eh? Yes. We are coming to you live from Mzansi Eben. We are coming to you live from Mzansi Eben. We are coming to you live.
Coming to you live. Mzansi Eben Radio, the Southern Eben Experience, as per invitation by Sadtu, the South African Democratic Teachers Union, who are awarding their high-performing schools in terms of excellence for the Grade 12 awards. Chill with us as we bring you nothing else but good, premium interviews. Coming to you live from the Orion Safari Hotel, as per invitation by Sadtu, the South African Democratic Teachers Union. This is just a test to check if our things are in order.
Okay, now test again.
Coming to you live from Orion Safari Hotel as by invitation by Sadtu, the South African Democratic Teachers Union. Coming to you live. Coming to you live. Coming to you live from the Orion Safari Hotel as per invitation by the South African Democratic Teachers Union.
I want you to test that one.
Coming to you live. I can't hear anything. Coming to you live. Testing 1 2. Testing 1 2. It's not.
Yes, not proper.
It's not.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
fine.
you are allowed. No, you can.
Leave you can wait, otherwise, we talk around the corner late outside nothing I own. Was a very burn. Very like that. We are paying up now. So I'm going
If you can just say something.
Hello? Can you hear me?
Say something again.
Hello?
Yes. Okay. Chairman.
One moment, you don't want to. Okay. We are on Mzansi Urban Radio. Yeah. Oh, can I not really move on? We're on Mzansi Urban Radio. We are at a place called Rustenberg. Rustenberg, so they say. One of the names that has survived the changes. It has not been changed to an African name. Maybe that must still happen very soon. Nonetheless, we are at the Orion. They call it the Orion Law Safari and Game Lodge, where we are witnessing the awarding. These are the inaugural Matric results. Matric awards hosted by the South African Democratic Teachers Union here in the Northwest Province. And we're starting off our interviews here. You know, we will be here for a while now, and we already have a guest lineup. You know, it's great to be here as always, and we're getting all the things that we need to get done. It's a bit of a bit of nostalgia, you know, as we talk about those things that we need to talk about. I need to consult someone very quickly who is my producer here, or my director, if you like. Let us take a small song break, and then when we return, we'll be talking to one of our guests here at the lodge. Back just now. But am I waiting for the again? Mike, I was saying to him earlier on as we were talking offline that my wife her surname is her maiden surname is Mangani, and then I said, "Can I call you Mangani?" He said, "No." But Mike, what must I call you if I'm not going to call you Mangani? Mangani. Thank you, my brother. Good afternoon to you, and glad to have you. You are the chairperson of the JB Mas district of South African Democratic Teachers Union in Northwest. Where is JB Max? What is which part of the country is this region?
No, thank you very much. JB Max covers areas from Feldesdorp, Potchefstroom, Klerksdorp, up to Wolmaranstad.
Wow.
Yes.
Is it one of the biggest regions in the province?
Not with some.
Yeah.
I think Zulu Boy in terms of the members.
Oh, I see. We are here at the Matric. This one is the first one, so they call it the inaugural Matric Awards, where we are here to honor and give great gratitude to the matriculants of 2021, who had, we believe, the most difficult year ever. How did your region perform in relation to the province?
The region got around 80%, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. I was not aware that I would have to respond to them.
No, it's fine.
Yes, but I think they performed very well in terms of, in comparison with the province.
Yes.
Because our district, as in district of Sadtu, was ranging number 2 from the Indo.
Okay. But today your school was also awarded with an award. Tell us a bit about what you got an award for.
Now, BHW Secondary School got an award for being one of the schools that performed about 90%.
Okay.
Because we got 97.1%.
Wow.
With 203 matriculants last year. But we also got an award for having the quality results.
Yes.
Being a school that has got more than 50% of learners who obtained bachelors, who got bachelors.
Yes.
So the combination of the union was that the school that should get 70, if they combine bachelors and diplomas, should be awarded. So we are in the top 3 in the province of Quintal 1 Catholic schools in that category of 20.
Okay. Yes. I mean, to do such a great to perform in such a great way is no child's play. How do you manage to do it? What are the secret ingredients that your school was able to?
We have managed to agree and understand the fact that the work that we're doing is part of nation building. So all of us are aware that what we're doing is not necessarily just teaching learners, but we're busy assisting the country in its reconstruction and development program of ensuring that we're able to give our kids quality education. Once we've got the staff that is having that understanding, and we also have the SGB that is giving all school programs their support. Obviously, whether you are in a place where people may not necessarily say it's a very good area in terms of your socio-economic status, and you've got learners that you also make to understand that they need to really focus on their work, you are able to produce such results. So with a school that is having like 203 matriculants, I think we succeeded because of the commitment of educators, and I need really to also thank all of them, even in this interview, and also the support of the SGP, inclusive the support that we get from the sub-district of education. But we had to go through a lot of extra mile, like organizing your extra classes, having to see learners even during the weekends, teachers sacrificing their time for the learners because they've understood the responsibility as that of national building.
Absolutely. Now, obviously 2020 was a horrible year in terms of the COVID-19 pandemic. Give me a contrast between 2020, the efforts that you had to do, and maybe 2019, what sort of adjustments did you have to do? You've already mentioned one, which is extra classes, of going to schools on Saturdays and so on and so forth. When you look back in hindsight, 2020, 2029, what is your comparative view on those 2 years?
I think 2019 was more of a stable year, while in 2020 we faced it. So it was not necessarily you just getting into the classroom and teach them, thinking that they will be listening to you. You also had to deal with their mind. So there was an extra effort in terms of ensuring that learners are able to understand the situation that we find ourselves in. And as much as we were also fearful, because it's not like as an educator or as a principal, you were not also fearful, but you had to pretend as if you understand what is happening and make them also believe in what you are saying to them, that if we focus on our studies and we are not necessarily afraid of what is happening, we will be able to make it. So it was not a simple year, because even with teachers, all of them were just having a lot of anxiety. So we had to drive the program of ensuring that they are able to understand and make their side to be in the right place, and then we are then able to make some success.
I don't want to be this question to come out insensitive, and if it is sensitive, I do beg. If it is insensitive, I do beg your pardon in advance. But we know that in 2020, country lost a number of teachers as well, through passing away by way of the pandemic. How did the pandemic affect you? Did you lose teachers as well? Did you find that some of your best teachers, you lose them during this period of 2020? or with God's blessings, you were safe that nobody passed on?
As a school, we did not lose anyone, but we had a number of educators who were who contracted the virus, who would not necessarily be at school when they were still positive. So yeah, we lost a lot of teaching time, because some of them were not coming due to the pandemic, but we didn't lose anyone.
97% pass over 200, is it 203 matriculants. Is this a Model C school?
No, it's a school that is based in an area that was a performance settlement basic. So as government continues to upgrade and uplift the lives of the people, now it is dominated by what we call it RDP houses.
Yes.
So it's a school that is started in an area that was a performance settlement, and yes, that is where the school is.
And the socio-economic position of the school is not that of privilege, because people tend to think that only as what they call privileged schools seem to produce the results. But you are showing that even at a place like where you are now, you are still able to get amazing results.
Yeah, no, with the efforts and the collaborations of all stakeholders, the commitment of the teachers that I don't want to miss mentioning, if there is anything that they need to hear, it's my appreciation of the work that they're doing for the community. And they've been doing that since the school started. I mean, we had our first matric in 2010, and since then we never obtained anything less than 96%. I mean, all the years up to last year. So obviously, the commitment of the teachers is something that everybody should see.
Yeah.
So they are doing a wonderful work, and we're also very much lucky because you find in many instances the focus of educators being diverted by the conflict between SGBs and the school.
Yes.
But we never had such a situation. We are always having SGBs that understand that we are there to support the school in its objective of teaching our learners, and we really want to give them all our support. And that is what they are doing all the years. We also want to appreciate the parents, of Extension 7 in all areas that we are serving their learners for the support that they are always giving.
Yeah, but Mike, I'm very proud of what you're working on. And today, the South African Democratic Teachers Union, Northwest Province, has demonstrated their, appreciation for you, for the school, for the community. What is the message that you want to take to them on the appreciation that they've shown to you, particularly, Sadtu's appreciation of the work that you've been doing?
No, they have strengthened our belief that they are a revolutionary organization. Because they are not only focused on, looking at the interests of their members only, they are also focusing on ensuring that South Africa succeeds as a country. And obviously, that is the role of revolutionary history, so that your country does not necessarily fail in its mission of, reconstructing itself. So Sadtu has really shown us that, as we always knew it to be, it remains a revolutionary organization, and that requires a lot of support from everyone.
Absolutely. When you think about revolution, the first thing that people tend to think about is sloganeering. But here you are, educator, leader in the community, and not only in the community, but you're leading us into revolution. Because once we get the education, trajectory correct, we can only prosper as the nation. So we're here as Mzansi Urban on behalf of Sadtu Northwest to celebrate you and congratulate you on the awesome work that you're doing. Congratulations, Mike, and may you grow even more.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
2021, what are you looking for? What are you going to be, what high goals are you setting for yourself?
We need to increase the number of quality passes for our learners. Our view is that 2021 is even far much worse than 2020.
Yeah.
That's our view, because the learners that were having in grade 12 this year did not attend school last year. The learners that were having in grade 12 this year never wrote examinations at the end of the route control test, while those that wrote last year had a full year when they were in grade 11. So the comparison is not necessarily the same. It might only be that in 2020 we were experiencing COVID-19 for the first time. But in terms of the readiness of the learners, they were a bit better than the 2021 learners, because they lost a lot of time, teaching time last year. We're hoping to make some good progress with them. And the department is also assisting in terms of organizing some Saturdays and weekend classes for them, which we are participating in those classes. So we hope also be able to do well.
Well, revolutionary wishes to you, Brahma. And you've shown that you have the capacity. You are made of more sterner stuff. And I do actually wish you all the best. I hope we come back again next year, or whatever we will be in 2022, or maybe towards the end of 2021. We'll see. To come and congratulate you once more for a job well done. I believe you will indeed make it.
Revolutionary wishes to radio station.
Thank you very much. That is Mike. I call him Bra Mike because I cannot call him with the same name as my wife. But he's a teacher at JB Max, and he was showing us what sterner stuff is he really made of. We'll be back with more interviews. In the meantime, let's take a quick break, and we still have more guests to be talking to. Thank you so much. Rustenburg. That's where we are right now. We're joined by colleagues who are here as part of celebrations when the South African Democratic Teachers Union is celebrating the matriculants of 2020. The first ones to ever be hit by the coronavirus. It has not easy for those matriculants, and the provincial, union of the provincial, the Northwest Provincial Committee, Executive Committee of the South African Democratic Teachers Union, took a decision to celebrate those students who went through that difficult year known as 2020, the year of COVID-19. I'm now in conversation with Mr. Sidikani. I beg your pardon, Sir Sidikani. I have just received a briefing now from my erstwhile producer, who keeps, keeping me a bit on the toes. Yeah. But we're in a jovial mood. We're happy today because we're celebrating our matriculants. And so if I mispronounce your surname, forgive me. And we could also forgive my erstwhile producer, as I said. So you are the Provincial Secretary General of the National Association of School Governing Bodies at the Northwest Province. Sadtu is here today to celebrate learners of Northwest. As the National Association of School Governing Bodies, what message do you have for the learners of Northwest on this occasion?
No, I think the first thing is to understand myself. Celebrate excellence.
Yes.
Celebrate excellence. And the message that simply keep working on it, keep being disciplined, keep being focused on education.
Yes, absolutely. And excel even during difficult times.
Yes, because now it's affecting everybody. It's affecting everybody everywhere. So we should be determined to overcome the hardships that
As parents of these students, how have you seen them through this period? In other words, what role did parents play in making sure that the students, the learners, remain engaged in the education program?
whatever support. So we encourage our parents to be part of school governance, coming up with strategies, any challenge that the school.
And 2020 was a difficult year, I suppose, for the parents to execute exactly that which you just said you needed to execute.
Yes, but we have to align ourselves with that kind of situation. Respect the SOPs, standard operating procedures, determine but here, the regulations
overall, when you look at the provincial performance, because you sit at the provincial level for the National Association of School Governing Bodies. So when you look at this at the provincial level, at the performance of the province, how do you feel about it?
No, I think over the past 4 years, all this is last year. So So the overall performance is not so much good, but because of the different online stigma, then we still do it. But this year we will be able to.
Here is 2021. Some are saying it's going to be a more difficult year than 2020 was. What is your view about that? How ready are you as parent organization, as a governing bodies? How ready are you for 2021? And how much, do you think needs to be happened as well to make sure that even 2021 it's a successful year?
Well, I think things are a little bit more better because we do have an understanding of what is going on. But during 2020, everybody was not sure what he or she was doing. But today, at least we have a little bit of information. So if we plan properly and do things correctly, strategize as stakeholders, it will be a better.
Absolutely. So we're at the awards ceremony here. This is the inaugural Matric Northwest Matric Awards brought to us by the South African Teachers Democratic Union, Northwest. Did you receive any awards yourself? Did your region where you're from or your school get something? Or what happened?
No, from where I'm residing, we received 2 awards.
Oh, awesome.
Yes,
Awesome.
schools performed well. So we are part of that.
Okay. Well, no, congratulations for that. What were the awards for, by the way?
It was the best performing
In there? Absolutely. No, congratulations, sir. And I wish your school, the one that where you're from, the best for 2021, so that they could also do well in 2021 as well. Thank you very much for your time, Mr. Sidikani, the Provincial Secretary of the National Association of School Governing Bodies. We're back with more interviews after this short break. Thank you.
And with us is Miss. And how are you, Miss? Are you sure that you're good? I saw you ecstatic, and the only person who was actually ululating in receiving the awards. And I looked at the walk and I said, what made you so ecstatic today in receiving the
I guess I was excited for the and I get something because my school has performed extremely well. That I knew, but I did not know what kind of award am I going to get.
Can you just explain to those who do not know what quintile is?
The schools have been categorized into quintiles, and we have quintile 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. The first 3 quintiles, there are no fees paying schools. And then quintile 4 and 5, there are fee paying schools, but the most affluent schools are in quintile 5.
2020, known as the year of COVID, very, very, very difficult year. And there you are as a school, against all odds, performing wonders. How did you achieve that?
I guess we've been in the groove already because my school has produced grade 12 results for the 3 years, 2017 to 2019, as a new school. So last year it was going to be our 4th year. So we always set ourselves a target of 100%, and then we started with a high note, and then COVID came. But because we are a 21st century school, that did not stop us from carrying on with our program. When they announced the state of emergency, we immediately prepared material for our learners. They all had the resource packs, but with the hope that we are going to reopen probably in April. And then on the 30th of March, which was going to be the actual reopening of schools, as a physical sciences teacher at the school myself, I started teaching my learners through virtually. I started with Zoom and Skype, but it didn't work because not all learners were affording to be using that platform.
I can imagine.
Yes, and then engage the parents and encourage them to buy WhatsApp data for the learners. And then we were having our classes Monday to Sunday using WhatsApp as a platform. And then when I realized that it is working and my learners are able to attend on daily basis, 100% attendance, I then decided to contact the SGB and then tell them that I want to suggest this to my colleagues that we do it full blown. I had a virtual meeting with the SMT, and then we decided that we are going to start teaching all learners. We engaged parents, we had WhatsApp groups already, and then we had to have also a reporting mechanism. So all the HODs were in all WhatsApp groups in order to get attendance on a daily basis. And I can say we had more than 85% of learners attending throughout until the grade 12 returned to school in June.
So when they talk about 4IR, they are referring to sunrise. Is that basic? Because what you've explained, when other people are struggling about 4IR, but there you were in the initial stages, you had a problem, but then you excel as a school. And I mean, we've got to give credit where credit is due. But moving forward, the icing on the cake for me was also seeing the hubby, as I may call it. What do they call it? Bay. Yeah, was seeing Bay, maybe Comrade Bay, also collecting the award. And I'm trying to figure out, how is the communication like at home?
At home, we relate at different levels. There's a time where we relate as husband and wife, and at times we are relating as colleagues. We attended the same college of education. We majored in the same subjects, math and science, So
Everything comes natural.
it just comes naturally. We are able to have such a meetings in the bathrooms, taking a bath.
I can
Yes,
imagine.
yes.
I can imagine because other people would then say, it's very difficult. When you get home, you can't talk about something different because you're taking your work home basically. Because your frustrations are the same frustrations maybe that he is going through. And here you are today, both of you receiving awards as husband and wife. And the schools that you are leading surely should be having great leaders. And I guess not only that, but your SGBs, how supportive is your SGB to the whole cause? And especially with reference to this year. And I think this year is going to be the most difficult year as compared to last year. And what's your view?
I've been the most fortunate to have a very supportive SGB. And not only the SGB, but the parents as well. So it has been a team effort. So everyone has been playing their role. And my colleagues as well, it's not only the grade 12 teachers, but across the grades. So everyone, they know the role that they need to play in order to prepare for the class after 5 years. So it starts in grade 8. So I can say that in terms of the support, I'm very much overwhelmed. I get support throughout. The current SGP that has been elected as well, they've been also, they jumped into the wagon. They are very much supportive.
They hit the ground running.
Yes, they did.
Moving forward, and I think this is the last point that I want to get from you. And clearly, in the Northwest, we are proud to produce leaders, especially in the NTA field. Those who do not know the NTA field, the NTA is the National Teaching Awards. And I'm told you were once a recipient, or maybe twice a recipient. And with COVID hitting, the NTA took a blow in 2020. And what can you tell us in terms of that feeling of being a winner in the national teaching, a national winner for that matter, not a provincial winner, but a national winner? How does it feel? What does it come up with? And how does it also improve your capacity as a person to lead an institution?
I've actually been a national winner twice. In 2014, I got position 2 at national in the category Excellence in Physical Sciences Teaching. In 2017, I got position 1. I brought the car home in the category Excellence in Secondary Leadership. And I've been very much vocal about NTA because NTA has prepared me to be the principal that I am today. And I'm currently serving in the provincial adjudication panel for National Teaching Awards. So in 2021, NTA is going on. They've just started. We are busy with the advocacy. So I can say National Teaching Awards, whether it's COVID or not, because now we are in the new normal, recognition of teachers should continue throughout.
Yes, because with COVID hitting, teaching continues. And why don't we recognize teachers as well? And I think the last word from you, what can you say to Sadtu about what they did in recognition of excellence for the schools?
I actually would like to thank Sadtu for coming forward and recognizing the work that teachers are doing at the ground. Because at the end of the day, the foot soldiers are the teachers. Unfortunately, we cannot all be here. And today I came and received the award on behalf of my colleagues. Then they would know that Sadtu, being a Sadtu teacher or being a Sadtu leader, it does not mean you have then to believe in mediocrity. We still believe in excellence, and excellence has to be how do I put it? But in order to recognize excellence, it has to be in a form like this one, giving awards. Right now, I'm talking on national TV because of this awards. So Sadtu, I actually would like to say thank you very much, and I think I'm talking on behalf of Sadtu in the province, Sadtu comrades at the ground level, and as the chief commander at my school. Yes, I mean, being Sadtu, it means that Sadtu is the voice of the teachers. At the same time, Sadtu believes in excellence. And here we are today celebrating excellence.
Satu doesn't mean Toitoi, and Satu means excellence. And those are the words from Mrs. Rasisemola. As you are chilling with her on the Mzansi Urban Radio, the Southern Urban Experience, this is your host, Josima, the host of the Sights and Sounds of SHS on Mzansi Urban Radio. Let me take this opportunity to thank you very much, to heartily thank you and pass our words of regard from Mzansi Urban Radio to the hubby, and continue to performing good results and maintaining excellence all the way. Thanks, Mrs. Rasisemola.
You're welcome.
This is now 12 minutes past 3. As we move on, we'll be having more interviews. And I think the last interview we have an interview with the Provincial Secretary of SATU. As we go to an ad break, let me also prepare that the Provincial Secretary will be coming over to
No, I'll have a conversation with my brother. Okay. More than having a brief, unless no interview.
Aku waktu ngelas pan kerja interview. Karena macam sih mau kamu interview tu bukan mau kamu.
Really?
Kau kamu interview.
I'm ready when you ready.
We'll be ready in a short while.
West Matric Awards, where they're honoring the best performing students of the year 2020. I'm now joined. I must be very careful. I've been briefly, properly briefed rather, to say, use the right words when you're addressing this gentleman. He's a brother, he's a comrade. His name is Els. But we call him today the provincial secretary. My brother, how you doing this afternoon?
No, thanks, Buti, and thanks for Mzansi Eben for having us this afternoon.
Yes. Once again, I mean, you keep setting the standards high. Every event that we go to, we get new things that are doing. But this year, you came with a nice innovation to say it's time for you to honor matriculants who are and schools that are performing very well. What is your, motivation? What is your reason for doing this event of honoring the matriculants and schools?
Well, thanks. Firstly, I think we must indicate that the Provincial Executive Committee of South and the Northwest deemed it fit and necessary to acknowledge and honor the best performing schools in the province, precisely because we know that most of the time the major job of making sure that the results are produced are done by our own teachers at the level of the schools. But at least today get this part of acknowledgement. And as a union, in part of implementing our own long-term vision of the 2030 vision, we said that part of the 2030 vision, pillar number 2, is creating a learning region. In that, we're necessarily executing the mandate of the organization of making sure that we implement that particular vision. But in doing so, we thought as the PEC that it would be important, noting the difficulties that the schools and the entire school communities would have gone through in the 2020 academic year due to the pandemic. It was going to be important for us to honor the class of 2020 in this particular fashion.
Absolutely, because 2020 was indeed an exceptional year. I mean, no year has been like 2020. The pandemic, the lockdowns, and so forth. How has 2020 as a year affected school and schooling in the Northwest Province?
Indeed, you would have noted, Mati, that 2020 was a very difficult year. You would have noted equally so that there was a time when people would have then suggested that the entire school year should be scrapped.
Yes.
However, with the challenges that were there, we have noted what we call the stop and go kind of an arrangement where schools were closing and reopening. But what was more difficult was particularly, you'll know that the union has pronounced on the 14 non-negotiables in terms of making sure that the department is able to make sure that the schools necessarily observe all the necessary protocols. You would have known that there were situations where learners could not be taught because of issues of comorbidities, where some of the teachers could not go to school. But worse for the grade 12 class in particular was that the department could not agree to trim the syllabus for the grade 12. So having lost a number of school days in terms of learning and teaching, these learners had to go and also account for the entire syllabus of the grade 12. So that is how difficult the year was. However, then we want to appreciate really the resilience that our teachers, our learners have shown in 2020 in making sure that they go through the year and be able to produce the results.
Educators in South Africa work through very difficult conditions. This is a conversation we've had before where we spoke about security, where we spoke about, remuneration and other things. But on top of that, you now have to deal with a pandemic. You've already mentioned the comorbidities and other, conditions that enhances the effect of the pandemic. What do you say to the teachers in Northwest about their resilience and the fact that come 2021, they're still standing?
Sure, like we normally say, teaching it's a calling. We want to appreciate the commitment that has been shown by the teachers generally, let alone the number of challenges that they're facing. Because we know that ours is a very revolutionary responsibility of making sure that we transform society and black people in general. So we want to continue encouraging our members that whilst the leadership in the back rooms, in the boardrooms, continue to address the challenges that are facing education, they must continue soldiering on because we think it is through education that we can be able to make sure that the country and its future is being transformed going forward.
The Secretary General of the organization at pronouncing during this event whilst delivering the keynote touched a bit on the challenges of sexual harassment and sexual abuse. What is your message again to members of Sadtu, the educating community in the Northwest Province?
Well, as a union, we really have a very clear position in terms of gender-based violence. We are condemning gender-based violence, and you would have also noted that we have had a campaign, which is an ongoing campaign on a school fan campaign. And a school fan necessarily talks about our role of teaching, our role of making sure that we denounce violence in our schools. So our message is very clear. Those who are perpetuating gender-based violence, they are not doing it in the name of the organization. And equally so, we are saying men and women who are perpetuating gender-based violence, they're not fit to teach in our schools. Hence, you have even our relationship with the South African Council of Educators, which amongst others deals with issues of professionalism of educators. So we are saying as an organization, we'll continue really to condemn everyone who's engaged in this particular senseless behavior of turning the young ones to be either their wives or their husband. And therefore, I think as an organization, we're very clear on that. We are really against this particular kind of behavior.
The other thing that the Secretary General mentioned is the issue of increase. 2020, of course, people say because of the pandemic, there were no increases. We are now in 2021. Have the bargaining negotiations started?
Look, the salary negotiations in 2020, as you are aware, currently there was no implementation. The matter is currently at the Constitutional Court. For 2021, the negotiations started. We are at a process currently where we are engaging our members in terms of the offer on the table, where if we were to indicate that the employer would have noted that when the Minister of Finance presented the medium-term budget framework years, they indicated that the government for the next coming 3 years, they will go on a zero budget. And one of the reasons that they advanced was that they were going to take the 1.5%, which is the pay progression that educators are supposed to get through a process of QMS and QMS in terms of making sure that they reprioritize the budget and that money should be used for COVID-19. However, we can say currently the offer on the table is that we have agreed, whilst we're engaging with the members, to say we're going to back to the members. One of the things that is on the table is the term of the agreement, which the offer currently says a 1-year term, which we have also said as a union will be pleased with 1-year term because we are no longer trusting how the employer has handled the previous multi-term agreement. But the second aspect is that the employer has now tabled 1.5%, the one that they wanted to use or take from pay progression. And they are also paying what we call the cash gratuity in the form of 900 and something for a period of 12 months. So we are consulting our members because it is our members who must then be able to pronounce as to whether the leadership should take the offer on the table or not. So we will in the near future be able to pronounce how our members has actually been able to take a position around the current offer on the table. But most importantly, over and above that, we think it is important that in the country, the issue of collective bargaining should be respected. Because we think it's one of the gains of democracy that we've achieved, the opportunity to go and negotiate in the best interest of our members.
Else, I'm going to put you on the spot here and ask you whether you think that we're going to see rolling mass action on top of the pandemic that we currently face. Do you anticipate seeing a situation where educators and other members of management to the streets in protest of the bargaining process that's not going too well?
Well, like I've just said earlier on, it is not for the leadership to make a determination. The members of the organization will direct us because we are led by our members who will then say this is the route that we must take. And we must also just indicate, we know that in terms of the labor relations currently, we will have to undergo a process of balloting the members. If our members through a survey, currently we are conducting a survey because you know there are challenges of convening mass meetings because of limitations of COVID. So we are conducting a survey where we want to get a feel of the members. So once the majority of the members say we must go to a strike, we'll also conduct that particular survey. And I think at a particular time, then we'll make that particular decision as the National Executive Committee after collecting the mandate from our members. And surely, if the members would have pronounced on the strike action, it will not be our role as the leadership really to divert from the call of our members.
These are hard things to talk about. So let's move to the more softer things. Today, educators were recognized. They were working very hard. Of these awards, which one stand out the most for you that you really think, you know, and reflecting on today's events, it really suits your soul and it makes your heart very happy?
I think the award of the best rural schools, to me, it's an outstanding award, primarily because of the situations that we know our rural schools are faced with. You know, when you go to the rural schools in the province and across the country, really the situation is very dire. It's very demoralizing. The morale of the teachers are down. However, you realize that these particular teachers, they continue soldiering on. So to me, really, this is one of the awards because we know that the historical mission of our organization is for making sure that we really maintain the public quality education. And these rural schools, albeit the challenges that one would have spoken to, where you know that there are child-headed families, there are issues of poverty, you name many challenges that are there. However, they continue to soldier on and make sure that they are able to deliver the best interest of the learners.
The past 3 years, I mean, the province has been very consistent in terms of its performance. I mean, 5, 6, 5, and so forth. You know, it has not dropped drastically. You're looking at 2021, some are saying it's going to be a more challenging and difficult year than 2020 was. Because, you know, I had someone here who said learners of the matriculants of 2021 did not even complete a proper school year in grade 11. This is a demand again on the teachers. This is going to be another pressure for them. What do you say to them? How do you get them to, you know, remain encouraged in delivering the consistent performance that they have been delivering in the past 3 to 4 years?
Well, as Sadtu, we are a very progressive organization. And one of the things that we always champion is that our teachers must continue to be revolutionary in terms of the tasks that they carry. One of those is that they must be on task, they must be on time, they must teach. Those are the things that we will continue to be able to speak to as the organization. Because as against the doomsayers who think that this organization is only about strikes and all those things, we are championing a good education. And therefore, we think, albeit all these challenges that has been spoken to, particularly with the class of 2021, because you know that the curriculum in grade 12 will not be strained. So we'll continue to encourage our educators to say, look, under these difficult circumstances, continue to do your revolutionary task of making sure that really we're able to shape up the future of these learners. And we think we have confidence in our teachers, and you know that as a big organization, majority of teachers in these schools in the country and in the province are Sadtu members, and therefore the results that you are seeing here are our results. But I want to indicate, Brati, that us is not about who gets position 1, because for us that thing is ill-informed. You cannot compare apples with bananas. You have provinces that are highly resourced, like your Gauteng, for an example, and you compare them with provinces that are very rural, like your Northern Cape, which is very vast, your KZN, your Eastern Cape, including Northwest. So we are saying to us, it's about quality of results. It's about learners achieving and going beyond the normal schooling. So the issues of positions, which sometimes it's been championed and it leads to unnecessary competition, to us it's not an issue. For us, we want to see majority of learners performing. You will understand that the ruling party, through its national development plan, has set targets in terms of performance of learners, particularly in mathematics and science. Because you know that we've got serious skill shortage in the country. And we think that if the government could, as they are reprioritizing the budget, they could put a lot of money in terms of making sure that issues of teacher development in the country are being addressed. But over and above that, your foundation classes, where the learners are able to get better foundation, the money is pumped there, so that as the learners are progressing from one grade to the other grade, they are able then to cope with whatever challenges that they are facing.
I was going to end the interview, but there is a follow-up that I want to take on that point in particular. What you mentioned about positions and number one and number two is very critical. We know that this is driven primarily by KPIs and other things that people have said. How different then are these awards for today? How qualitative are they relative to just honoring quantity? In designing today's awards, the inaugural Sadtu Northwest Matric Awards, what are the things that you did to ensure that you're just not celebrating numbers for the sake of numbers?
Indeed, Prachi, as you would have noted, we spoke about the number of categories. And amongst what the criteria that we have looked into is the number of learners who would have enrolled in a particular school. And we looked into schools that have enrolled at least more than 120 metric plan. And to us, with the circumstances that we are faced with, particularly your quintile 1, 2, 3 schools, because quintile 1, 2, 3 schools are our own farm schools, our own rural, our own township schools. So that is what we have seen to be the best model, unlike necessarily awarding the schools that are already resourced. Because if we would have probably concentrated, like for an example, in quintile 5 schools, obviously you'll have your previous model 6 schools being the ones who are scooping the awards today. But we think that we must be biased to the poorest of the poorest. Hence, we think that out of the criteria that we've applied, we have actually selected best quality in terms of the performance of the schools within the province.
One of those is a school in the JB Max region, and they performed quite well. 207 enrollments, and they got 97% part. We spoke to the principal there, I call him Bramaik, and he was saying that the school is from a very poor area, RDP area, and yet they were able, amongst those challenges, to rise above and still get this type of percentages. What do you say to that school? What do you say to people, to doomsayers who are saying township schools are failing, township schools are not making it?
Definitely, it's evident that whatever the doomsayers are saying, it is not something that is being informed by the reality on the ground. We can confirm that that school, I think for the previous 5 or 6 years, they have been hovering at 90% and above. And it's a clear demonstration that there's a lot of capacity in our schools. It's a clear demonstration that once the department can also reprioritize their budget, once the department can also make sure that in terms of their teacher development programs, they are able to make sure that they also pump money into the schools to make sure that the teachers are developed. But one of the most important things as an organization, we are speaking about I'm a school fan campaign, which I spoke about. I want to emphasize it because that campaign brings the communities closer to the schools, because it could not be only educators who can manage to turn the situation around, but the educators need the support of the entire school community. So schools like BACOB are but examples of schools that are there, and many of them which are there, which can demonstrate that indeed schools in the townships can equally perform the same as the schools in the towns, those who are former model schools. The only difference is that you might find that those particular schools, quintile 4 and 5, because they are fee-paying schools, they are able to charge exorbitant fund to an extent that they've got even extra personnel, whereas our own schools are able to deal with the little personnel that the department is it's affording them. So we really congratulate PACOB and the rest of the other schools that are performing similar. And we have such schools like your HF Clow here around here. There are many of these schools that we can say really they're doing great job. And I think over and above that, it also speaks to the management of those particular schools, because it tells you that indeed their management is really in a good shape to make sure that they are able to steer the ship under the circumstances.
The provincial secretary, okay, this is correct, right? Provincial secretary of the South African Democratic Teachers Union in the Northwest Province, my dear brother, Comrade Els, thank you for your time. Always articulate, always very clear. And thank you for being not only a visionary, but a revolutionary who's able to see and ensure that there's growth in education. We salute you, we salute your members, and we know the type of conditions that you find yourself in and working in. But still, continue to soldier on, showing a lot of resilience. We're proud of your work and your effort. Once again, congratulations for this beautiful event, and we hope to see you in the next event.
Thank you, Brati. We want to take these accolades and send them to our members, because without them, we are nothing as the leadership. But over and above that, we think Sadtu is a good, it's a choice for the teachers. We encourage the teachers to belong to this particular organization. And want to thank again Mzansi for always being with us
Absolutely.
in our activities. We appreciate a lot your time and your efforts. And thank you very much for having us once more. Thanks.
No, thanks very much. Thanks very much. That was the provincial secretary of the province in the Northwest Province of the South African Democratic Teachers Union. That was our last interview. We're out. Thank you all for listening, and thank you for your time. Cheers. Come.
It's